that are not quite elite. But remember when Rex was on the hot seat and Stephen A., you were starting to call for his job. And I was here saying, look, now he's embattled. His back is up against the wall. Do you know when it pays to be a player's coach? Right now. Because if these guys have any love for him and he knows what he's doing at all, they will rally around him, and that's what happened. Do you know when a player's coach has a hard time motivating his players? When they play normally in Buffalo and they're on the road in Miami in what's considered not the toughest divisional game. That's when a player's coach's team, I don't know if you can judge them. Buffalo team goes to Miami for a road game. They have a player's coach, kind of a lenient coach. Maybe they don't show up with their best performance. Same thing happens in the NBA when they go to LA sometimes. It's that kind of town.
Very simplistic for me. Rex Ryan is approaching his 6th consecutive year as a head coach in the National Football League, where he will be outside of the playoffs looking in. This is a devastating loss for the Buffalo Bills because of what it means in the AFC, considering the quality of teams in the AFC North and the AFC West in terms of the wild card spot, because we all know that Buffalo ain't winning the AFC East. You combine that with the fact that, Max, what did I say early in the show? It's about who you are, what your signature is, what your gift is. This man is a head coach because of how adroit, how skilled, how pristine he was as a defensive coordinator. You have the 27th ranked defense against the run in the National Football League. If you have problems on offense, but your defense is stout, we're not having this discussion. But the combination of you not making the playoffs, combined with what the reason would be this year, which would be your defense, is what makes this unforgivable.
Tyrod Taylor's got to play better, I think.
LaShawn McCoy wasn't healthy. He shouldn't have been out on the field. And now they're saying he might not be ready against New England because of it, too.
When you have the opponent backed up, like in their, what, 5 or 10 yard line, whatever, 8 yard line in the fourth quarter, and you have a lead, you're supposed to win that game. But the point is, without their best player on offense, they lost the game close. The defense has been good at hitting the quarterback, not great against the run.
We asked you guys earlier in the show, are the Eagles a legit threat to the Cowboys? The results are in, and 56% say yes. So we're kind of right down the middle on that one.
I'm saying they could be right, but at the end of the day, considering how Dallas is winning and considering how the Eagles have lost or struggled, I'm worried about the Eagles in this question.
I think we could have, I know they're in first place at the moment. I think we could have phrased the question opposite. Are the Cowboys a legit threat to the Eagles? The Eagles, actually, best point differential in the NFC.
So why are you going to talk about how the question should be phrased? You trying to say you don't want to debate, that you want Kevin and Antoine and Brian and Stephanie's job? Is that what you're trying to say? You're trying to say you don't want to be on the set? You want to tell them how to frame the question?
Make the show a lot easier for you.
You're going to be in Cleveland tomorrow, huh?
Yes, I will be in Cleveland. The ring ceremony, the Cleveland Cavaliers, watching LeBron, having brought a championship back to
Max and I will be in Miami. Have fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to be in Miami.
Going to Miami.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. For the rest of the week, have fun in Cleveland. Welcome, Ryan Clark, to the desk. Good to see you. But I got to start with you, my friend over here.
Was you going to start with Kermit?
That's his version of Kermit.
Yeah, you going to start with Kermit. Got the green.
Excuse me, Stephen A. Did the Redskins prove they are who you thought they were?
Yeah, they did. They did. Bravo again. Let me say something, man. You know, this last week is kind of, I don't want to say tough because it really doesn't faze me. I mean, Brian Mitchell and Doc Walker threw me for a little loop because I love the brothers, but, you know, they were getting on me because I had the audacity to sit up there and say that, you know what, you focus on something bigger than the NFC East. I apologize. I was wrong. Maybe you should focus on just the NFC East because you're in danger of not getting that. I mean, my Lord, all of this stuff, all I did, Max, Ryan, all I did was this. I said, hey, y'all beat the Eagles, all right? And you roll out there and you're like, yo, we kings of the NFC East. But you're in second place. You lost to the first place team in the division, which is the Cowboys already. You got bigger priorities. You got Kirk Cousins that bet on himself with the franchise $19.95 million tag. You got Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson, who can ball, both entering the last year of his contracts. You got Doxson, who can play, okay, and he's got skills and a tremendous upside in the future, could potentially be bright. Matt Jones showed us something against the Philadelphia Eagles. I like this brother. Defensively, even though they've been struggling a little bit, you got Kerrigan and the crew. They can do some things. They can get at the quarterback. And, of course, there's the great Jay Gruden, because we know he's great just by his name alone. Let's be clear about that. We know that he's great. It takes time out of his busy schedule to comment about me. You know, I think it was very, very unfair. This guy has no clue about how hard we're working. Who gives a damn about hard work? It's results. We assume, far be it for me, that Ryan, am I wrong in assuming that NFL players automatically work hard? I'm assuming that you work hard. I'm assuming that you're putting forth the max effort. That's what we're getting on me about now? Oh, he doesn't know how hard we work. I know you haven't been to a Super Bowl since 1991. I understand that. I think that when we're talking about that, we're going to talk about Jerry Jones and the Cowboys and how they ever won a Super Bowl since 1995. How did we let this fly over our head that the Redskins hasn't been to a Super Bowl since 1991? And then after all that noise you made adopting the victim's mentality, talking about how dare he say such a thing, you go out and lose to the Detroit Lions? Now, don't make me wrong. I think Coach Caldwell's doing a good job with them right now.
They're on the come up.
Stafford is balling. They're on the come up. There is no Megatron, but I'm going to repeat, there's no Megatron. There's no Megatron. So Matthew Stafford connected with Anquan Bolden. Love Anquan, no doubt. How old is he? I mean,
you're younger than me.
He's gonna be here soon. You understand what I'm saying? He's gonna be working on television soon, someday in the future. I mean, it ain't like he's a young stud on the come up now, and that's who beat y'all for the game-winning touchdown. I'm just saying, Redskins.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo.
You and I don't agree a lot on this show,
Right.
But we agree about this. Whenever I hear a coach or a player talking, like objecting to some kind of criticism based on the fact that they work hard, dummies, it's only relative to who you're playing, right? So, yeah, you're a great football team, but by NFL standards, you're a middle-of-the-pack football team. You work hard, but if that's the point, to go at someone's criticism, then what you are implicitly saying, that means for the people who make this point and don't understand it, implicitly means you're saying it without saying it, but that's really what you mean. What you're saying is that you work harder than everyone else, or else what's the point in saying you work hard? It's just, it's only relative to the other teams. So you're saying you work harder than the Giants, than the Cowboys, and then the Eagles? Is that what you're saying? Because if not, you're mediocre. That's okay. In the NFL, it's worse things than being mediocre. You're in the middle of the pack. You have a shot at the playoffs. You're 4-3, and you do have a win against the Giants, who are also 4-3, but that win could have easily gone the other way, just like your loss to the Cowboys could have easily gone the other way. Washington has certainly, and I won't even say their name, I think it's an offensive name, by the way, but Washington has certainly...
You've been consistent about that.
It's offensive. Washington has certainly been a normal kind of NFL team and has done nothing to distinguish themselves in a suddenly underrated maybe NFC East going into the season. Everyone's laughing at the NFC East. Maybe it's the best or second best division as it turns out in football at the moment. Okay, fine. There are worse things to be, but to react that way over criticism where someone correctly points out you ain't special, you haven't distinguished yourself, is ridiculous.
Well, listen, I caught it this week on Twitter thanks to you guys, right? Because it was like, hey, Ryan, why aren't you defending us? Why aren't you saying so? I said, first of all,
You said Stephen A's right.
Well, what I said was, last time I checked, when two men have a disagreement, men disagree. I said, but if they ask me on TV, I'll talk about it. So when you talk about the Washington Redskins, when you say they are who we thought they were, it just all depends on who you thought they were. If you thought they were a pretty good football team, a football team that could go 9-7, a football team that maybe ekes out a 10-6 record, then you were right. I don't think it's a bad football team. I think it's a football team that can be competitive. The issue with what you were saying was when you start talking about what people say in the tunnel and the way they feel, it seemed like they were saying more than just, we won today over the Philadelphia Eagles. It seemed like they were talking about history. So when you talk about the history of this team, especially recent history, it's nothing to boast about. It's nothing to scream about in the tunnel. Now, you know Bake just as well as I do.
Good dude.
And so Bake is excitable. If you watch him, he's the big dude. You know, he dances. He gets the crowd hype. So he was doing what he does in keeping everybody upbeat about the positive things going on in Washington. And there are some positive things. But this game told me about the Detroit Lions, right? If you look at Matthew Stafford, he said in the offseason, we may be better offensively without Calvin Johnson. I may be better, and he is, because now he spreads the ball around. Josh Norman gets hurt. Marvin Jones makes some big catches. He had the one big catch on him on which he got hurt on. The Washington Redskins are a team that, if they play really well finishing out, they may finish second in the NFC East. If they play about what I think they were, they'll finish right behind Dallas and Philadelphia. This city loves that team. That's why they hate you right now.
Well, listen, they're going to continue to hate me if they continue to lose, because I ain't going to let up. They brought the attention on themselves. They got it.
Well, you got to realize, they got Vikings, Packers, Cowboys.
Good luck with that.
Coming up.
But here's the deal. This is how stupid it got in the nation's capital. You actually had people that were accusing me, like, what'd you go do? You gonna fight Baker? Excuse me? Me? Have you seen the size on that boy? It's just nonsense. We were talking about debating one another about the Redskins. That's all it was. So it's all in fun. And by the way, Baker is a good dude, married to a wonderful young lady who used to work here, who are friends with all of us. We got nothing but love for the Baker household. So it's just nonsense. We're just talking about football. But at the end of the day, hold on. At the end of the day, guys, it comes down to this. Y'all, it wasn't just about this or whatever. Collectively, they're acting like there's something more than they were to me. And all I'm saying is, you got to win these games, and you got to do something more than what you did.
But life is about perspective, right?
Sure.
It's about perspective. So if you're 9-7 or in that situation, if you're 4-2 and you just beat the Eagles, a team that everybody was talking about before their 2 losses to Detroit and Washington, you feel good because you got to think about where you came from. Right? So in Gruden's first year, you go 4-12, and now you win the NFC East, and you've started the season 0-2, and you run off 4 straight. That is a good start to a season.
When you're telling
that is a perspective-wise for those people. You have now won 4 games in a row and beat the team everyone was presuming was going to run away with the NFC East. So if you think about where they were and where they come, they're much more competitive
when you're
than
telling
they were.
their story, you can do it that way. Or you can tell the story of the Detroit Lions and Matthew Stafford, who, by the way, after looking like a top 5 talent at the position for years and years, maybe he didn't have the arm talent. He had the arm strength, but maybe not the talent to get it done, even though he put up big numbers. Over the last year now, I would say, full season, if you take the second half of last season and the first half so far, he is balling. And maybe it's not the story of Washington. Maybe it's the story of the Detroit Lions. If you look at Stafford, NFL ranks in pass completion percentage, passing yards, yards per attempt, yards per dropback. He's top 10 in everything, top 5 in a bunch.
Boy, that's his 24th game-winning drive as well, though.
In the fourth quarter.
He likes it there.
Last point. Washington Redskins, I think they're a very, very talented bunch who can make some noise in the NFC. I don't believe their target should be just about the NFC East. That's why I said, what have you done? You understand? And yes, I'm assuming, because you're running into the tunnel, I wasn't there. Of course I'm assuming. Who the hell doesn't know I'm assuming? I'm on national television. They're at the game. Okay? Of course I'm assuming, based on your reactions, that you're making something more out of nothing. That's my belief. I believe they should be better than what they are, but I also believe they're allergic to prosperity, which is why they are not.